everybody, welcome back to the Claremont Classic Garage. After our first experience, going to the tractor pull with our little Ferguson here, well, a few things became abundantly clear. So, we got dusted by those two little Al's Chalmers tractors. Part of the reason I didn't do as well was, of course, I'd never done it before, and those guys were a lot better at driving than I was, right? There's not a lot to the driving if the tractor goes straight, which this one did, but it's really important to get it launched good and not spin the tires off the start, which this thing did. As soon as I let the clutch up, it dug two holes, then it jerked the sled. So what happens when you jerk the sled stops and you have to get it going again, and then it jerks it again. I probably had to get the sled going about 3 times. That kills your momentum, right? Before I finally got it. And when it spins the tires, it digs holes, so the tractor has to pull itself out of the holes while it's pulling the sled. And then on top of that, it has to drag the sled over the hills that you made when you spun the tires. And on top of that, it spun the tires for about, probably the first 10 feet. Which, well, that's just bad, right? So anyway, I have to, in the next one, when I launch it, a little less throttle, a little easier on the clutch, and I have to make sure I keep that chain tight, so I only have to get the sled moving once. All things that you learn, right? Anyway, there's another big fundamental difference between these little tractors and the Fords and pretty much everything else out there of that era. All those little tractors back then, they were mostly drawbar tractors, right? Only the Fords and Fergusons had the Ferguson system, which kind of used the I can show you here. It pulled the implement on this, so when you pull the implement, the implement wants to tip up, which pushes on the top link, which plants the back of the tractor into the ground. So you didn't have to rely on a whole bunch of weight and stuff to keep the implement moving through the ground. Whereas on those old drawbar tractors, they needed weight on the drive wheels to pull, because you're just pulling the plow off the drawbar to pull that plow through the ground. So one of the things they did was they made them a little bit longer, and the operator is sitting back here. So the operator is behind the back wheels, which helps kind of uses the axle as the old fulcrum and levers the rest of the tractor. So you're getting the maximum bite on the back wheels. So we're at kind of an advantage here because basically we've got way too much weight on the front. So anything that we can do to get weight off the front and get it moving to the back is going to be to our advantage. It's no different than the stock car, right? We needed the weight. The weight had to be properly placed in the car to make each wheel do what we needed it to do. So with that in mind, I set out today making a few changes to this thing, so when we go to the Norwood Fair next week, we'll maybe have a better showing. First thing I found out was from watching the my wheel cam, we had too much air in the tires. I initially thought when I got to the end of my run that I didn't have enough, but I was wrong. I had too little. Let me try that again. I originally thought at the end of our run that I had too little air in the tires, when in effect I had too much. So I've let them down a little bit more. And after all the letting, I did let a little bit out at the pull that day too. So I lowered the drawbar. I let so much air out of these tires, I actually lowered the drawbar 1.5 inches. So I took it off the bottom and put it back on the top and got it. I still had to pull it up about 1/2 inch with the chain to get it right at 18 inches where it needs to be. So we're good there. If you remember when we weighed in at Roseneath, we were 65 pounds to the good. So I found this old elevator counterweight. It's exactly 65 pounds. I put it on there. So theoretically, we should go over the scales next time at exactly in between 2690 and 2700 to run in the 2700 pound class. I wanted to get the weight. I had the weight at one point sitting up on here, right on top of the wheels, but I need everything that I can get as far back as I can get it to try and get the weight transferred from the front of this thing to the back. So we put it down there, down low, behind the wheels. Hopefully that'll help. It'd probably be better if it was up high above the wheels, but, you know, that's getting a little carried away. Another thing I did was, you can see here that rust mark. I moved the seat back about 3 inches. So that moves my body mass back 3 inches on the tractor. Every little bit is going to help, right? Another thing, very important. Look where the fuel tank is on this thing. It's right here. And I think right now it's just about full, you know? Look at that. That holds 8 gallons of gas. What's 8 gallons of gas weigh? What is gas? 4 pounds a gallon or something? There could be 35 or 40 pounds of gas in there that we can get rid of. So you run it with just a gallon in it, and now all of a sudden, you can put another 30 pounds on the back. Okay, I'm getting this figured out. We'll pull with a Ferguson. Well, here we are. It's Monday of the Thanksgiving weekend here in Canada. We're rolling, headed to the Norwood Fair. The trees are starting to change a little bit. I kind of think as we get a little further up there, the trees will look a lot different than they do down here. We kind of got a little break with the weather because yesterday when I woke up, it was calling for today periods of rain. But then that, by yesterday afternoon, that was gone, and it just said mix of sun and cloud. And it's going to be cool, but we can deal with cool. It's just rain that's you know, not nice. So anyway, we'll see you when we're there. Well, here we are, and there's one thing that's for sure. Don't matter what kind of tractor the people have, they sure know what kind of trucks to buy. Every single truck is a Ram. And I see one behind us. Thing that even moved that. It's a frosty one today, but that didn't keep the competitors away. We got all kinds of tractors here. I think there's about 6 weight classes. We're in the 2700, of course, and there's so far I've seen 4. So there's 4 of us. Fine. Pulls on the way. The Raw has a full sign of 247.5. They might
have it re-pull again and readjust this red. We'll see what happens. But anyway, 247.5 for Rob. Nice got a full 275.2, 275.2 for time. Here today with the 1952 Ferguson CEA. Now approaches for his mirrors. The mirrors hooked up to the top, which I've never seen done before. We got him on the hook, and then two fingers. On the first. Looking first, CEA, stroke plus 3 England. Kevin's got a full 291.4. That puts him in first place at this time, 291.4.
291.4.
RJ, you're back on that. pole of 222.4. 222.4. Boston got a pole of 252.8. 252.8 for race. The truck would leave 1953. Got a pole of 294.6. 294.6. Previous winner in her class, you had to go to one. And we'll of course John Goody. Tom and Ken. Cody Wessel, you're on deck. Tim's got a score of 290.5. That's his start. We'll put them in second place. The winner of the 3,500-pound class is White Static. He comes down. Here today with the 1952 Ferguson TEA. Now, approach here for his mirrors. Mirrors hooked up to the top. I've never seen them before.
Well, what do you know? We won. So as a perk, when you win your class, you get to move up into the next class and try your luck there. So we were successful in the 2,700-pound class. Now we're moving up to the 3,500-pound class to give that a go. That's great.
First time you ever fought?
Last week was. At Roseneath.
Oh, yeah.
Shit, I ain't straight. Oh well. Okay, here we go. 3,500 pounds. So that'll do it for our day at the Norwood Fair. I still can't believe that. We got the trophy. But, you know, we did all that work in the shop. And what did we learn with the stock car? I hate to keep going back to that. But with the stock car, we always said the races are won and lost in the shop. What happens on the track is just proof that you did a good job in the shop. Anyway, that's awesome. And that's the last event for this year, for 2024. So we'll start over again in 2025, and we'll see what we got for them then. We'll be better. We'll be better, I promise. Anyway, I'd like to thank you for tuning into the Claremont Classic Garage. I hope you'll come back and see us again. And until then, I'm Kevin saying so long for now.